Good morning, afternoon, evening, whatever it is for you. I hope that it's good for you.
Hello, it's good afternoon this way.
Pardon?
I said it's good afternoon this side. Hello.
We have Colin Stevenson here on the global microphone. I'm thrilled to pieces to have this amazing person here. He is an extraordinary everything, and I'm going to let him tell you what a couple of those things are. Colin, welcome to the global microphone.
Thank you so much. Nice to be here. Well, I would like to first off start to say thank you to yourself for having me on, and thank you to everybody for taking the time to listen in advance. Hopefully we can get some energy going on this chat and we can get it out there, get the vibes out there, you know. So at the moment I am 36 years of age. I live in Glasgow, Scotland, and I am a Reiki practitioner, a tarot reader, and I help people with meditation and mindfulness. So looking in towards themselves a bit more before they then start to express themselves, so that they're expressing the right parts of themselves and not who they think they're meant to be.
Wow, you've said a mouthful right there. So bravo. And I know you're a healer. I know that you work on people in a variety of modalities. So let me sum it up then. Reiki, you also do tarot. And what was the other thing that you said?
Mindfulness and meditation.
Mindfulness meditation. Okay. So let me ask you something, Colin. You're 36. You're young. You may not think that, but when you hit 50, you'll look back and go, God, I was young. Just saying. I got 20 years on you, bro. The question that comes to mind most of all is when a person has a special gift, say, or an aptitude for something, like for you, let's bring it down to what happened for you. How was it in this discovery process? Were you supported, for instance, in your family? I mean, some people aren't. How was that for you?
I wouldn't say I wasn't supported. No, from a young age, I knew that I thought differently. I knew that I acted differently. I've always had lots of friends, but I never felt that I fitted in, no matter how good my friends were. Do you understand what I mean? I still felt as if I was outside looking in rather than being part of the inside looking out.
No, I missed that. I don't understand.
Right, so whenever I was involved within a group of friends, I felt part of the group, but I still felt that I was outside looking in to the group, if you understand. And I was still being looked at differently, even although I was part of them, you know. So no, I had a relatively good upbringing. My mum did the best she could. I grew up in a large family, 5 boys. So I've got 4 younger brothers, and we had some crazy times in the house, you know. But again, it was probably, I was still kind of different, even though I was the eldest and I helped my mum out quite a lot. My younger brothers all seemed to get on a lot better. No, they weren't bad to me. I wasn't bad to them. I don't mean like that, but it was just, there was more of a closeness with them, and I was still that kind of weirdo that was sitting on the edge, you know, just kind of going, yeah, cool. So as I got older, I tried to hide this kind of person, so I then had to take on an alternative ego, shall we say, to be somebody that liked to hide how soft they were, hide how much they wanted to love people rather than, you know. So I had all these traits within myself so that I wasn't picked on. It was like a kind of I don't know, a self-preservation process.
Well, let me ask you about that. And because this is really why I want to do this interview, especially with you, because in such a short period of time, which may seem like, you know, it's been your lifetime, but honestly, there's some people who have yet to take off that persona, that protection. Were you ostracized? Were you bullied? Did people just be like, oh, mate, what the hell are you talking about, man? How did that happen for you?
Well, when I was younger, I wouldn't say I was particularly bullied a lot, but I was always As much as I was included, I wasn't included, if you get what I'm saying. So I always tried to maybe play up for attention. I tried to do things to be more included, even although I knew that I was different. So then when I was older, I got myself into the entertainment industry. I don't want to go too deeply into that, but for a lot of years, I was somebody else, and I was able to live my life as this person.
Oh, wow.
And
wow.
Everywhere I went, it was, I don't know, how can I put it? It was enjoyable to get that attention and validation. But
were you a rock star?
No, not quite, no. Not quite, no. But what happened was, people knew who I was before I got to the destination, if you understand. Before I got to the party, before I got to the night out, it would cause a bit of atmosphere sometimes. Sometimes it would, but most of the time it was pretty positive. But it stopped me from realising who I was. I forgot who that nice, kind person was that was grown up. I forgot who that young boy that wanted the best for everyone in the world was. It was more about me, you know, and I wanted that to change. So I had to then take drastic measures to change the whole process, if you get me.
So what can you give me an example of a drastic measure?
Yeah, I joined the army.
That'll do it. Oh my God.
Yeah, so I was 30 years old and I joined the army. Not because I wanted to go and shoot people, not because I wanted to go and be bad to folk, and I wanted rid of my ego. I had the time and solitude in the army to ask myself a lot of questions. I had time to be able to maybe drop everything, and there was no expectation from other people. So I was then able to be the person that I was or am, you know. So there was no expectation because nobody knows you. So I wasn't Colin that was in the entertainment. Yeah. I was Colin that was a car salesman, just lived a normal everyday life, and I kind of but it was difficult. It was difficult being in an atmosphere that I wouldn't normally gravitate towards. It was difficult being in somewhere where, again, I had to almost sometimes hide being myself, but not in the way where when I was living out here, it was more hiding myself as in being opinionated, being open to some spooky stuff. You know, so I had to kind of hide myself slightly, but I was able to do the work on myself. You know, I was able to let go of a lot in the past, let a lot go of everyone goes through a life of hurt. They hold on to things, they take things for granted. They don't actually realise how special things are when we let go of it. You know?
When you say that they don't realize how special, who are you referring to?
People in general.
Okay. So when you were in the army and you basically kind of like hit reset, yeah. Were you then able to focus, or did you choose to not focus on more of your spiritual gifts?
Yeah, absolutely. Because when I was in there, I think I was maybe a year and a half in, and obviously it's against what the army kind of goes for, but I was struggling with, because you go through the shift, you've been through the shift yourself, yeah. So you understand life becomes more difficult before it gets better. Yeah. So while I was going through this very, very, very difficult time, I started going to mindfulness and meditation groups. So I would drive from the army camp on a Thursday night, I would disappear, I would tell the guys or the girls I was going somewhere else. Wow. And I would go and start working on my gifts and working on myself, to be able to be a kinder person, a nicer person to everyone surrounding me, and also to be better to myself, because I deserve that, just like everybody else deserves it, you know. So when I was round and I was surrounding myself with different people for a couple of hours on a Thursday night, it started opening my mind up, it opened my heart up, it opened up so many things that I was able to just, I was able to let go of a lot of, as I say, past stuff, and focus on the future. And then that's obviously led me, as time goes on, it's led me to sitting on your show and having this chat.
Isn't that something? So, the process of it, they say the process is not, life is not a process of discovering ourselves, but of creating ourselves. And yet I really think that there's a process of discovery as well.
Absolutely.
And we then get to decide what we want to create with that.
Yes.
And so as a result of you getting your learn on, as we call it, how have you been able to help people?
Well, first of all, I have learned the hard way through so many life experiences. I always chose my own way. For some reason, something always says, choose the hard way. Choose the hard way. It's as if I had somebody in my ear telling me, choose the hard way. Now, I now know why that is. It is so that I can now go out and help people not to choose the hard way. Yeah.
No.
Some of us have got to learn the hard way in life to learn that do the easy way next time. But sometimes people come onto this planet and they go through things the hard way so that they can then help other people not go through the lessons. They can tell them the experience and what not to do, otherwise they will go through it as a deterrent, So they'll still learn, they won't experience it, but they'll understand. And I believe that's why I went through the tough times because I was making myself do it. Call me stubborn. I'm a Tyrian. That is what we do.
Oh, yeah.
We tend to not take much of other people's thoughts. We tend to just go ahead and do it ourselves, and I've stopped doing that. I'm still quite stubborn, but only with certain things. I will take a telling now. I learned to take a telling.
Yeah, well, knowing what your strong suits are is good, and being able to work with the other ones, if you want to change them, it's awareness that of it that you can then decide to change it. Now, I know that you recently did some work with some people over a weekend, and that you came back saying your gifts are more validated or stronger, or what was it that you said?
How can I put it? I've been learning for my whole life, but obviously the last kind of 3 years have been a development for myself. The time in the army was time to understand myself. Then once I left, it was time to then develop. So I've had 2.5 years of developing what I feel to be a magical shift within myself, So I went, there's lots of different medicines, shall we say, that don't always go with what the medical practices of the elite ones, etc., tend to advertise. So I was looking into Amazonian medicine, and different practices like sweat lodges, like Campbell was the one. So this was it's Amazonian frog poison.
I know about it.
It's
that's some serious toxins right there.
Yeah, it's mega. But our lymphatic system that we have, okay, if we get a cold, our lymphatic system has a code to go against the cold or to go against the infection so that we don't get infected. But with the Amazonian frog poison, the Campbell, we don't have a code for it. So it affects every single lymph node in our lymphatic system and clears you out completely.
Wow.
Yeah, so when I came out of this, I went in for a day. There was no harm, there was no pain, there was no anything. And I woke up the next day and it was like, I thought it was quite balanced and quite happy, but it was as if a cloud had been lifted, that I'd been walking about above my head and it just lifted. And I was like, wow, this is crazy. So
wait, before you move on, what did that do? What was the difference? What was the palpable difference between one day to the next? Or did you just feel lighter? Did you feel brighter? Did you feel less stressed? Did you feel like, oh my God, I can see through people?
All of the above. All of the above. It was like, you can't put it into words. And when I spoke to the practitioner, Stephen, I explained to him, I texted him, I said, I can't believe how different I feel. I feel cleaner, I feel lighter, I feel more focused. He said, you can't put it into words, can you? And I said, no, I absolutely can't. So, excuse me, itchy nose. So after I went through all this and I started going back to my healing sessions, I started getting visions, because I give healing with my eyes closed, and that's where I put my intentions into things, and that's how I obviously channel myself and work with the energy of the other person, So when I closed my eyes, I had vision kind of things, but all these random pictures started coming to me, and I was like, where is this coming from? So it might be a sock, or it might be a snooker cue, or just random things,
Wow.
So I was like, I don't know why this is. So a couple of times I did it, and I thought, I'm not going to say anything. I'm not going to say anything. And then I thought, I'm just going to ask this, before I do cards, what I usually do is I give people a healing session, work with them, their energy, and then while our energy is connected, I give them a reading, the cards. Okay, so I don't read the future, I don't make up nonsense, I don't tell them rubbish. But I said, I'm just going to ask. So I started asking people, what does this mean? What does this mean? Does this mean anything to you? And they're like, oh, whoa, I was just talking about that yesterday. Oh, how did you know it? I'm like, I don't know, I just got the vision, and yeah, this means this. And it had such a profound effect on people's whole personas, because then at that point, they understood that I understood, because a lot of people that are light workers tend to go in with ego, and they tend to go in with, they go in with things to say, I can do this, and I'm the best, and and it's all about them. But it's not, it's about the person you're trying to guide, or the person you're trying to heal, So when I give people this validation before the cards, it tends to let them know, I don't know these people from Adam, but it lets them know that I'm in their wavelength. So I'm not trying to talk rubbish. I wouldn't know this unless somebody told me, or unless they told me. It's their thoughts. So that was about 5-6 weeks ago that came about. And yeah, life's changed a lot. It's given me a lot more focus, but it's also allowing me to help other people with more of what's going on in their life, and can I guide them? I don't call myself Jesus, I don't call myself a magician, but what I do call myself is a light worker that's here to I've been put on this earth to help folk, and you get a lot of people laughing. Oh, you can't do this, that's rubbish, and you have no clue, you're away with the fairies. That is fine. If I'm away with the fairies, I'm enjoying these fairies. These fairies are my friends. I'm completely good with that. But I also go to spiritual churches very often. So I will go and I will watch somebody take the room, 50 of us sitting there, and they'll talk to dead people and give messages from spirit.
Well, my mother's a medium. That's nothing unusual in my life.
And it's awesome. And you speak to people about that as well, and they tend not to they tend not to take it very well. Oh, that's rubbish. Or
until they actually have a session, and they're like my mom was able to bring peace to people's lives because she could channel the messages from the person that they missed so much, and then they had peace in their lives, and the visions that came to her, the words that came to her, just like you, they only specific to that person. She couldn't make that up. She was, how else are you gonna know, right?
You can't.
Yeah, and it's so validating. And so those that are laughing, ha ha, whatever, they're just ignorant, aren't they? They just don't know what they don't know.
Everyone's entitled to their own beliefs, but I don't believe that this is a belief. I believe it's a way of life.
Yes.
And
yes.
Yes. I believe that so many other people will have things like this, and that feeling left out, that feeling of having to go out and be validated by other people and do things for the sake of being liked, when you could do the inner work and then give what you've got when your cup's full. There's so many people that could be out making the world a better place, and they choose not to, out of being scared of what they think, out of being scared of what other people think. I honestly could not care anymore. I'm past the stage of having to validate myself against others, or if anyone wants to think I'm a crackpot, because I literally I literally could sit down and talk to anybody about anything. Give me a PhD psychiatrist, and I would be certified sane. But it's just we are all open to other realms of possibility, but we choose not to be.
This is why I wanted you on the global microphone, Colin. This is what the call is. I'm begging people, calling all light workers, come in, come on. It's time to stand up, speak out, share your gifts. It's who we are. Remember who you are.
But people don't. People think.
Pardon?
People think that they are on this earth just to live in this mundane life. When you do the inner work and you then start to move on, your whole outer life changes. And then you can help others do the same. And you can create a butterfly effect that will last forever. And it can go within your house, within your street, within your town, within your city, within your country. And it'll move out, and all the diversity that we've got just now, people being divided by race, by gender, by orientation, by age, do you know what? Every single person's a human, and it doesn't matter who they are. Every single person has the same universal energy within inside them to be able to come out and work with other people. I mean, I don't understand why people allow themselves to be categorized by a small group of people that claim to run the world. I don't believe why these people allow themselves to be ring-fenced as a certain type of person, when all you have to do is break that mold yourself. It's so easy just to kind of step outside. The hard bit is doing the work. That first step out of that mold that you've been given, you've got a bit of a journey. And I'm not going to lie, that is the hard part. But once you get to the end of that journey and you're then on the growing side as opposed to the learning side, everything becomes easier, and it's just
it does, because stifling who you are, it's a repression of emotion and being, which creates depression, which only takes away, zaps your energy, makes you exhausted, makes you lack your sense of judgment, the self-doubt, the self-esteem, everything goes in the shitter, and it's time for it to come back.
Yeah.
I mean, come on. It's a denial of the truth of who you are. And when I say, consider the source, I don't mean consider the source. I mean, consider the source from which we all came. There is no difference. This idea of separation consciousness is the problem behind so much of what we have, thinking that we're separate from all that is, that makes your heart beat and flowers grow. But it's also thinking that we're separate from each other. And what you're talking about is making that little switch. Take a step off the curb, guys. It's a step. It's not a chasm. Just take a step off the curb. And what you're going to find is, pow, your energy is going to open up. It's going to release. And the freedom, the self-expression, the flow, you're going to be in the flow, right, Colin? Isn't that what happens?
Absolutely. Yeah. See, do you know what I find now? I can't be controlled by society. I can't be controlled with bills coming through my door and a letter coming through my door or anything like that making me feel a certain way. I am controlled with what's in my chest, and that is it. That is it. Anywhere I go, that is what I follow, and that is where I go now. And this is the best way. Honestly, I don't need money. I don't need good clothes. I don't need expensive things. I need nothing. I've had that. I've had that life. I've had all these things. And do you know what it means? Absolutely nothing. Going into that deeper understanding and getting into that deeper knowledge and getting into and exploring new things that allows me to grow and help others is where I'm meant to be at.
I love this. I love this. And, Abraham Hicks talks all the time about the contrast,
Esther Hicks is one of my absolute favorites. She's awesome.
Yeah, she is. Yeah. And so, through the contrast, which is we are in the dark and then we go, oh, this really kind of sucks. And then we know, I don't want that. And knowing what you don't want is just as important. But you may not know what you do want, but knowing that you don't want that, then that's okay. At least you can move away from it. And what you're saying to me, to summarize it up, is that you've traveled the path. You've had the rock star sort of lifestyle, whether it was literal or not. You've realized that's a path of unfulfillment. It can only lead to more unfulfillment. And that
Exactly.
by shedding all of that crap that you put on because you thought you had to, the naked truth is that the being that you are is ever expanding like a lotus, and is able to help more and more and more people, which is the source of fulfillment. That's it.
Oh, yes, exactly.
That's all it is. And if you guys, if you're seeking fulfillment, listen in. It doesn't come from external stuff. Can you help people externally? Yeah, you sure can. But what you've got to realize is the process, like you took, Colin, is going inside so that you have something to build upon, and then you have enough to give, because you can't give it unless you have it, right?
People don't need to join the army. Okay, I was slightly drastic. Right, I was slightly drastic. But what they need to do is they need to just do the work. Do the work. Alleviate that sense of down, that sense of not having enough, that sense of not being enough. Alleviate all these things that allow you to be held back. Cut these ties towards that have been joined onto the past. Cut these ties to people that no longer you care for, or they don't care for you. Cut the ties to money, to material things, and go from the inside and come together and actually join forces with other like-minded people. And you will find that is home. That is home. Your home is not where you stay. Your home is where you are within yourself. That's all people need to know. It's within yourself. That is your home.
Yes, and joining the forces with the like-minded people around you. Guys, it is time for us to collect together and to collaborate and inspire and support. It is a winning combination. It is time for us to link arms and be together so that we can be even greater in what we know we came to do, which is to help others, to bring a good vibration, to share love, and mostly to realize who you are. Remember who you are. That is the source of pure joy. I see it in Colin's face all the time. I'm talking about you like you're not here, but I mean, you're just the most adorable, ebullient, and you know something else, guys. For those of you who can't see him because you're just hearing the audio, what Colin has shared is that he doesn't, the bills, the outside, the mundane world. I have enough experience with this young man to know that he's not bullshitting. He actually really walks his talk. He really has said those things to me. Yeah, I got a stack of bills, or yeah, I got the problems, or yeah, I got this. Yeah, you know what? I don't care. I still have my peace. And that is the ultimate goal, is to be happy for no apparent reason and in spite of present circumstances. And I believe that it only comes from the actualization of who you are and what you came to do. Just saying. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect.
Yes.
Very well said.
Yes. And so, with this being the premiere episode of the Global Microphone, I'm absolutely honored and so blessed to have you, Colin Stevenson, on this episode, because the call, it's not the call of the wild, guys. It's but kind of it is, because you might have thought that you were out in the outer realm. And I get it, out in the outer realm, it felt safer. It's time to collect. It's time to come together. And that's the point of this. Get to the microphones. Please broadcast your energy. Please share your gifts. It matters. It matters now more than ever. And I don't even know why I feel that way, but I trust it, It's
absolutely.
It's really freaking important that we get together and do this. Yeah. So Colin, if people wanted to work with you, are you able to work long distance?
I can do long distance tarot reading. I can do distance healing. And if they would like to get in touch with me, I have a Facebook page, and it is In Love and Light Glasgow. GLASGOW on Facebook. It's just a small business page. I don't have lots of followers. I just have people that I feel that I need to be connected with. I'm not doing it for the masses, but the people that feel the need to come forward or want to chat or want to work or want healing or just generally want to find out a bit more about themselves, I'm happy to work with them.
That's awesome. So In Love and Light Glasgow.
Glasgow, yes.
Okay, guys, that'll be in the show notes, so it's easy enough to find him. Do you have an email if people wanted to reach you?
Yep, In Love and Light glasgow@gmail.com.
Okay, I'll put that in there too. So it has been, are there any final remarks that you could say, look, this is the time, or whatever, what would be your final, like, I really want you guys to know this. I mean, you may have already said it, but can we just sum it up?
Of course, yeah. I would say find out who you are before you project anything onto others. And once you get to that destination of understanding yourself, you will have fulfillment and happiness and love. And then this will move on to other people. Definitely.
Brilliant. That's a brilliant trailer if I ever saw one. I'm going to cut that right out and use it. Thank you so much. Guys, keep tuning in. Bold Movers and Shakers is interviews that rock the boat, and the global microphone is an aspect appealing to all light workers, all creatives, all artists, all of those empaths who have been so sensitive and so hurt and so scared to come out. It's time to come out, and you're more than welcome to play, because we want you around. Who you are is amazing, and we get it. Get you. All right. Thank you, Colin. It has been an honor.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Guys, we'll talk to you again soon.
soon.
Okay, so we're gonna put this trailer together. So hold on, just 1 second. Just hold it. Okay, guys, we just wanted to give you a quick trailer on what this episode is about. And Colin, you just summed it up real well. For those of you who are still struggling with realizing who you are, what was it you said?
I said, if you don't believe it, God fucking love you.
Because it's the truth of who we are.
Yeah, live in your truth. Stop living in somebody else's. Know who you are. Understand who you are and live in it and enjoy it. Be happy daily. You do not need to live in somebody else's light when you've got your own.
Oh, I have goosebumps and it's cold in here. That was awesome. I hope you'll tune into the rest of the show where Colin Stevenson lays it down real. Let's keep it real, guys. We'll talk to you soon. Thank you.